Hey guys, I want to show you today a technique that we use involving promoting our agents and their brands on social media that has generated literally hundreds of sales over the past couple of years. And so I'm going to give you an inside look into how we market and brand and promote agents in several of our offices. Hi, I'm Robert Henry. I'm the owner of Haven Real Estate Group. And we have several offices throughout the Pacific Northwest. And one of the things that we do for a select few of our agents is we actually help them promote and build their brand online. Look, the bottom line is it's becoming increasingly more difficult to make a connection with potential buyers or sellers utilizing traditional methods of marketing and advertising. And so what we're doing is we're teaching our agents how to actually build a bridge or build a connection with agents by providing a high degree of educational value to the consumer who's thinking about selling a home particularly. We do marketing for buyers as well, but in this market where there's so little inventory, we like to focus a lot of our efforts in terms of our education to consumers towards the person that's considering selling their home. So let me take you in for a deep dive. You're going to discover a few Facebook techniques that maybe you didn't know that I promise you can make your life infinitely easier. So here we go. We're going to do a deep dive. And what I do specifically, about 2 or 3 times a week, I sit down for about 2 or 3 hours and I go through and promote different agents' articles and videos. And I'm going to show you exactly how we do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the back end of our website, and what I'm looking at specifically is Sarah Koenig has an article that's saving up for selling and buying at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that link, and this is the article that she's going to promote, that we're going to promote on her behalf. And so I'm going to copy that link like so. Now, typically what people would do is go ahead and go in and promote that, like post that right on the business page. We're actually going to take one step before that can save you a lot of grief, and that is Facebook has what's called a debugging tool. And what this debugging tool is it forces, it's a tool that Facebook has for developers, and it actually forces Facebook to go in and view the content on the page that you're about to post. So one thing that I've got to do is I've got to correct this link to actually include Sarah's, what we call her subdomain. So here's all that this means. It means that I'm going to promote this article on Facebook, but I want to make sure that when a viewer comes in and looks at the article, and maybe they go to various other portions of the website, search for homes, or look for more information about selling, that if they log in and create an account, that consumer then stays with Sarah, okay? So that's why I put that Sarah subdomain there. And so now what we're going to do is by clicking debug, we're pointing Facebook to that particular link, and we're asking them to go ahead and fetch the information on that page. Sometimes what you're looking for is they're going to show you what this page is going to look like if you were to post it directly on Facebook. So for right now, it's only posting the headlines, but it's not posting the picture. Very, very important that you include the picture with the post. So we're just going to simply have it scrape again. So we just had it scrape again. Sometimes you have to do that 2 or 3 times. And now it's going to give us exactly what that post is going to look like. So I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to copy that link again. And I'm going to come over to our Facebook business page and actually post that link. So now I'm posting that there. And a lot of people don't know this. I see this all the time where people leave in the URL. That's not necessary, and it actually kind of clutters up your messaging. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the consumer the ability to read the first few lines. And so I'm just going to copy that directly from the article, go back over here to my Facebook post, and I'm going to paste that. Very important that you have some spacing in between your content. What a lot of people make the mistake of doing is doing one long, enormous paragraph. And what studies have found is that the consumer will move on fairly quickly, whereas if there's spacing, so I just put a dot in there to force Facebook to show a little space. If you break it down into bite-sized chunks, so to speak, the consumer actually spends a lot more time on it. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow that last sentence there with the ... and I'm going to say click to continue reading. And then I'm going to provide credit there by saying article written by Now, what I'm wanting to do is, even if the consumer never clicks through to the article, we've accomplished a little bit of name recognition by highlighting Sarah's name there. So now what I'm going to do, actually what I typically do is I schedule out my posts a couple of weeks in advance. So you can do that here by scheduling post, okay? For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and publish, because I'm going to show you now how to have this article appear in front of your desired audience. So I went ahead and clicked post, and it's going to take just a moment to upload. And now here's where the magic comes. And this is very, very important. It's incredibly important that you define an audience, whether it be within a couple of zip codes that you're really familiar with, or in my case, I advertise to much of the state of Washington and state of Idaho because we have offices in different locations. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and hit boost post. And what we want to do is we want to send people to our website, okay? So the first thing, I have several Facebook accounts, so the first thing I need to do is come down here and click on the account that I want to use. And so, okay, I've clicked on that. And now what I want to do is I have an audience that is people who have been looking at Zillow and looking at, for example, looking at mortgages, looking at home improvement. And so I've narrowed my audience to people who live basically within 25 to 35 miles of the downtown Spokane, and then also have various interests. And so what I'm going to do is I always do my boosts for about 5 days. And typically when we're boosting agents, we do that for $100. And so what you're seeing is that of this audience, the number of people that are going to see this ad are between 940 and 3,200 people a day. And so then what I'm going to do is come back here and boost that post, okay? So here's what's going to happen. This post here will be visible on, what does it say? Up to 3,200 people a day for the next 5 days. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And what will happen is, so what happens? What happens is they'll land on this particular page. Okay, maybe they read it, maybe they don't, but guys, that's not the juice. In fact, the problem with most advertisers, with most marketers, is this is where they stop. But today's consumer needs to see or interact with your brand. By the way, as a real estate agent, you are the brand. They need to interact with you or see something from you up to 65 times before it moves the needle towards they have a stronger likelihood of reaching out to you or conducting business with you. So that's daunting. That means we have to continually be delivering content to that audience and doing so consistently and making sure that the content is relevant to what they might be interested in. So as a result of the consumer hitting this page, what it automatically now triggers is for the next 2 years, consumers are going to see Sarah's branding on various sites that they visit throughout the day. So let me give you an example. They will likely see it here on KXLY.com, for example. And so you can see this display ad here. There's display ads here, and then there's also display ads up at the top here. For the next 2 years, at least 3 times a day, the consumer that visited Sarah's article they're also going to see her visible on multiple sites. So here's creme.com. Over here on the upper left, you can see that there's a display ad here that will be featuring Sarah. Over here at Spokesman Review, you can see over on the right, there's an ad featuring Sarah. So what this does is a high degree of visibility where Sarah is consistently seen. Furthermore, if you've seen those pre-roll ads on, let me go ahead and take you to YouTube, but those let's go YouTube. In other words, for the next 2 years, let's just look at, for example, let's say someone was looking for information about the Spokane economy. And we'll go to this. We'll go to this TED Talk that was out of Spokane, and we'll just click on that. While that's loading up, here's what I want to tell you. What happens is there's this visit to the article, the blog, or the website. It now triggers a series of chain events, regardless of whether or not the consumer actually continued using the site and logged in and provided their login credentials. In other words, most people are just waiting for that to happen, and what they're finding is that their costs are skyrocketing. What we do has been an extraordinarily effective technique. What we do is that visit to that article now triggers a series of events. I showed you the display ads that now continually repeat, and we refresh those about every 3 or 4 weeks so they look a little bit different. But it also triggers a series of videos that displays to only that audience of people who have clicked on sites or clicked on articles that Sarah has written specifically about the process of selling. So she now has a series of articles that will show up on YouTube as pre-roll. What's happening there is the consumer is getting an opportunity through visual means, through video, to create a relationship and sort of get to know Sarah's personality and decide whether or not Sarah is a fit for them. A very effective technique. Think about it. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, a 30-second video has the cumulative effect of 12 million words. So it's very, very effective. And what happens is, over time, as people are seeing various articles show up on their news feed, as they're seeing then follow-up videos on their, when they're searching YouTube. By the way, YouTube is the second most used search engine by consumers. So very, very effective technique. And the reason that most people don't utilize or implement or continue using it is a couple of things. One, it takes some work. Like, it really does take some work. You know, our agents are encouraged to write 2 to 3 articles a week. And when doing so, we'll then pick them up and promote them on their behalf. So that's one challenge. A lot of agents don't like to sit down and actually come up with content that they then put out on blogs or articles. The other challenge is to really anchor and reinforce that, you've got to do videos. Now, what we encourage our agents to do is, well, since you've invested the time in coming up with an article that might be relevant to sellers, once you've created that article and posted that article, immediately transition to do a video, a brief video about the topic. So that, in conjunction with the article, gives the agent the opportunity to, over time, build a relationship with the consumer. Extraordinarily valuable. Why don't most people do it? Because it doesn't get immediate results. And the problem is, as business people, as real estate agents, the problem is that most of us are looking for that direct response or that immediate response. Today's marketing techniques, you got to be playing the long game, and you've got to be consistent so as to show up as an ambassador or show up as the market expert for the consumer. That's who the consumer is going to be drawn to above and beyond anybody else. So if you have any questions on this, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to advise you on how you can get a solid marketing platform working for you. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Have a great day.